Alright, this is going to be a quick tutorial, quick quote-unquote, on Freedom Planet, mainly Carol hard mode. I'm going to quickly look at the other two characters and then we'll move right into talking about Carol. First, Milla. It's kind of hard to describe the characters like another character, but they all play kind of like Sonic mixed with a character. Milla, the closest I can find, would actually be Yoshi, mainly because her flutter reminds me of Yoshi, and she can throw these blocks kind of like Yoshi's eggs. Now, I don't know much about Milla. I can only think of one real trick, and that's landing on slopes gives you quite a bit of speed. But that's the same for every character as far as I'm aware. And the other two characters have little ways to do it consistently. Milla, as I have shown, can throw these blocks, but she also has a shield, which lets you reflect projectiles, and it's how I beat a lot of the later bosses. And she can combine the two and have a giant shield that also shoots a giant projectile. It's really good against bosses that have quite a few hit points, such as the Sky Battalion boss. It also knocks you back slightly, and I'm sure there's some use for it, but I haven't found any, and there's not many Milla runners that I've seen. As far as I'm aware, Milla's route is currently the slowest, but I've only ever seen one time on normal. Next we have Lilac, who's kind of the main character of the game, the Sonic to the Tails and the others. She's got the most complicated toolset when she spawns. She can glide a little bit. She has a regular attack, a duck attack, upwards attack, downwards air attack, and a special, which launches her at a really quick speed. The downwards kick attack is really good because you can use it to hit slopes and go really quickly. You can also use it directly out of this to do some pretty neat little tricks. You can also cancel the glide with an attack and then use your boost. And your boost can hit slopes and give you a bunch of speed. Just gonna wait quickly for it to regen. If it hits the edge of a screen, it does something really weird where it turns you around and keeps you in place, which can be useful on bosses to do a lot of damage. Or you can, just gonna quickly get over here, use it on a wall, and bounce off. It's very useful, it does a lot of damage, it's invincible to the point of sheer invincibility. I don't think anything in the game can hit you out of it. What else? Well, this hair whip's also a multiple hit move, which is pretty good with a mechanic I'm going to explain quickly with Carol in a moment here. So Carol, I'm going to start a new game because we're going to play through the entire game as Carol. There's an unfinished run. I was going to say that's quite the time. So I'm going to go through the route as Carol, or my route. It's pretty bad and I'm sure you can improve on it, but mainly to highlight the tricks in the bosses. So Carol's got a pounce rather than a glide or a flutter. Gives you a quick burst of speed, and it's really good for landing on slopes. Just to show the difference, here's how quickly you would walk normally, how quickly you would pounce across the spot, how quickly walking down the slope would give you, and if I can do it, how quickly the slope speed would get you across it. The slope also depends on how steep it is. Now there's a really interesting mechanic with hitboxes in this game. They apparently seem to cancel each other out. I can show you on this guy here. And this kick has a really weird constant hitbox, making you essentially invincible, outside of a couple of moves in the game. There are 2 giant lasers and I think 1 boss attack that can't cancel that I've found. Everything else just completely ignores. For regular attack, you'll basically never see me use it. I'll only use it in 2 situations, which I'll explain in a moment. Rather, I like to use her roll. It does the same damage as far as I'm aware as a kick, but you can use this big claw attack out of it, which with some quick button pushing can use it really fast. and that's her strongest move by far, and it can hit twice. You can also use it directly out of the pounce, but it's quite clear you can use it a lot quicker on the ground. On higher up hitboxes, I like to roll, jump into it, and then claw, and maybe throw in a couple of regular attacks if I can. And other than that, if I don't need my special, I like to use this on airborne targets. Now the character I like to compare, I didn't mention was Lilac, it's more like Sparkster from Rocket Knight Adventures. But Carol plays a lot like Zero from Mega Man X, mainly because of her wall jump, her dash, and her quick and personal style. Now there's one thing I have to get a little bit into this level. I guess I should explain my route up to this point. Which, I just kind of like to go up the top part here, just until here, and then I'll drop off right away. I found this route to be the quickest, but I'm probably wrong. Then take the spring. Whoops. I was out of life, so I couldn't restart. There is one other route you can take here. And that's right here. You'll go up as normal. But you turn around here. I don't know this very well apparently. Because there's a bike here. Now the bike is what makes Carol fast. It's pretty slow normally, but on the ground the special button will make you do a boost instead of kicks. While you still have the kicks in the air. Plus it has a double jump. Rather than having to wall jump, you can literally just drive up walls. I don't like to grab this bike here because it basically doesn't feel any faster. Since there's another bike pretty quick here. You can also climb ladders with the bike, which is pretty hilarious. As early as this, you'll get another bike, which I find I can get just as quickly by walking as grabbing the other bike. So we're just going through this level like normal on the bike, trying to preserve the invincibility time. Up until here where I slow down to stop myself from going too high, and then hopefully still have invincibility on this bike. You can back up here and time it so you jump through that. Now here you can zoom up this wall if you feel like it, and you'll just cling on. Probably faster to go up top there, but I haven't practiced that. But by doing a double jump there, you can get straight to this block, which you'll need to push onto this button to go because you're not Lilac and you can't just boost. I like to use those just to get some speed. If you hold down on the last one, you'll go right through that thing and you won't even grab it. Then if I time that, I'll wait for that, but if it's just gone off, I won't actually wait for it. And then as soon as I'm up here, I like to jump across because it's faster. Otherwise, you have to climb the wall. And then the first mini-boss, you just gotta break all of these. It's not very hard, but I'm doing it really badly. And then once they're all broken, you just hit him in the face and he goes away. Taking damage there, you don't want that to happen at all, since your bike only has a certain number of hits, and it's the last bike you'll get in this level. Now a couple of well-timed jumps there will get you across without any problem. And biking up a wall is usually faster than a spring, and always faster than a ladder. So then up here, on this platform I like to run at it, double jump over here, then do a quick short hop and then another one to make it across without falling. Because I have a bike, I can just ride up that wall. Normally I'll slow down there, but I'm not sinking because I'm trying to talk. That damage there doesn't matter because my bike's still got enough health. Then you push this button. I always jump there because that guy's hit me a number of times. Then here, if I make it, I'll wait for that, otherwise it's quicker to drive up. Now here's a spot, from here on out, if you lose your bike, it really doesn't matter. Because this part's done just as quickly on foot. The whole slope pounce thing that I was talking about before. Plus these. Oh, if you mistime it, you'll lose a lot of time like that. Usually the boulder will be off the screen, but it's not this time. And then we're at the major boss of the level. You can get off your bike by holding down and pushing jump, which I'll do at pretty much every boss except for a couple. So the goal there is to break all of his segments in the first launch. You don't ever want him to do his spinny attack like this. And then on the third time you won't have any segments. So to perfect your time, I always kick early, since the hitbox will always stay out, and the exact frame you can hit him, you will hit him. Well, that's Dragon Valley. There's no tricks, it's all about just doing the level well. Now we're going to go to Relic Maze, which has the first really big skip in it, as well as the first reset warp. I don't use the reset warp in my run because I'm trying to get a deathless run, but that really doesn't matter, and the reset warp saves time. So here, going up, I believe is faster, but it's probably not, because I'm bad. It's basically playing this part of the level normal. I'm assuming at this point that you've played the game at least once casually. I don't know with who, and I don't really care because you can learn anybody in this game. It's a bit of practice. Now down here we go to the yellow room first, for good reason. We'll pull on this one, and grab onto this one. Here's one of the first skips. You're going to quickly jump back, re-grab this, drop off by pressing down and A, and pounce into these as they drop. You have to be very careful, only push A once, or you'll do a zip that we'll do later. Here, if you time it right, you can land on the Synn with a pounce and gain a lot of speed. Yeah. It's really tough to do consistently though. And really it doesn't matter. It's just a couple of moments you save. I like to jump on that twice so that I can use the last jump to aim myself into that tiny hole, because tiny holes are hard to get into. That sounds wrong. Then it's just a matter of going back up. You can gain a little bit of speed on that slope, but it's kind of tricky. But we're actually going to go back up here and do that zip I talked about. So we're going to do the same thing we did before, but as soon as you touch the wall, you're going to spam wall jump 3 times. And then you're up here. Now we're in the purple room. And then you just kind of go about this normally, except you don't have to worry about this puzzle that I don't really like. And come here and fight the boss. It's much quicker to just drop this on its head, and if you don't have the achievement, you'll get the achievement. Now here, as soon as that's done, you can reset, and it'll bring you out here. As I said, I'm not doing that in my runs currently until I get a deathless run on hard, but that does save time. This scene, if we were Lilac, we could skip this boss, but we're not Lilac, so we gotta fight him. And he's kind of odd, because for whatever reason, sometimes my claw attack just doesn't come out. It takes 4 of them to kill him. Or like 8 regular attacks. So I'll just abuse spring and use the kicks if I'm gonna take damage, because they're broken and I won't take damage from pretty much anything in the game. Get good with the kicks and you get good as Carol. Bad in the wall jumps and bike. See, that's in my way, just kick it out. There is some health here if you took some damage on the claw section. Now if you time this right, you can pounce onto the second one and kind of maintain your speed. It's tough to do though. Switch walls there early because you're gonna have to. go up here, and wall jumping's faster than waiting for those slow ass things. Now I like to go up here. I have no idea if it's fastest, just what I do. Again, this isn't an optimized route, it's mainly just me showing off the boss some tricks. Like that's it. Now because I'm a little low, I'm gonna get health there. You can die very quickly on hard. And I take the low pass here, just because it takes a while to open the door. Now here you want to get behind this, otherwise you'll just get hit by it. Because the kicks are broken, you can go right through. Quick bounce here, it'll get you right on top of the door. Then we go left here first, for good reason, saving the frames. And then we take break. I use the enemy dying to time that, but wait a little bit longer. Some wall jumps here to speed it up. You need to get very consistent with the wall jumps. This guy you can do 3 row claws and then some kicks to kill him quickly, without taking any damage or any risk. The next boss we're coming up to can actually kill you, but it's pretty hard to get killed by. Especially since there's a lot of health in the room, but it is a possibility for sure. If you're quick here, you can use a roll jump to claw and get the preemptive strikes achievement. You want to hit him before he lifts his head, because that's just wasted time. A single wild claw will break it. But I'm bad. Otherwise it's 4 regular attacks, which really shows off how strong the wild claw is. Now here's one of the first health files. I like to run to the right just in case I need it. Carol has one feature that makes playing with her on hard very difficult. That's that she is persistent through levels. So if you have a shield, you keep the shield, which is awesome. But that's very rare to happen. Usually you get the other end of the stick, which is your health carries over to the next level. Which can really suck if you like clutch a fight, just barely, and then you have to do a very difficult level with 1 health. Health in this game works kind of like a shield in Halo. When it's out, you're not dead, and you'll take a small amount of damage to die afterwards. If you have 1 health and you get hit by something that takes 8 health, you'll still be alive. So you can only die when it's completely gone. Kill that guy far enough to the right in this ending cutscene, you can actually get a little bit of health to help you in the next level. Now right here is pretty much the only time we are going to touch the ground with our feet. We're going to do 1 jump there, and we're going to get this motorbike. You will hopefully be on the motorbike for the entirety of the level, which we do fairly normally. Here you can jump off that to get into lower quicker, jump off this to skip a little bit of work, use these to get across. Bit of health there to heal you up after Matt's owned you probably. I know he owns me constantly. Notice you can turn around quickly and you can jump off the wall to get a bit of speed. Then you just gotta wait for this guy. On this going back round, I'll always drop down here and abuse the kicks being silly as hell. Now me and another runner, Zerg, who runs Lilac on hard, call this the shield of lost RTA time, since every crystal you pick up loses time. It doesn't in game time, but you have to wait for them to count down. It's about a frame every 4 crystals. There's a shield up there if you need a bit more health. Now I'm just kind of going about my route. If you're curious what I do, you can always go back and watch it slower. I'm only really going to stop for the bigger tricks. See, I was a bit slow, so that guy was going to hit me, but you can just kick him. These kicks are hilarious. Now here, I'll always go over here, jump on that. If you do it right, you can double jump to this wall. That skips a decent little section. Just like kicking this guy's laser again. I love the kicks, they're pretty dumb. I have no idea what's the fastest route here, but we're gonna take this one this time. What's up here anyway? Awesome, Raz. If you have any questions, please ask them. It'll help me out. So this guy, when he's going down, is a great time to kick him in the face. Otherwise, you kind of just abuse double jump. Actually pretty tricky to do. And you want to maintain health above all. This boss, you don't fight as Lilac, but you fight as both Milla and Carol. Then you want to be up there before the screen lets you move, just to save a couple frames. And thankfully you get a bit of health from Lilac killing the regular boss. You can get in here as early as like 240, was the route I did. Just requires you to have a good boss, which I did a little slow. Anytime you see one of those, you want to use it. It'll be fast. Trust me, I'm a doctor. I like to go up here just because I like the disco balls. But it is slower. Taking damage there always sucks. Now you want to land on this part, hopefully faster than I did, so that you time it with the spring. Then you can skip a hot air balloon. Now this wall, if you still have the motorcycle, you can skip the entire section by just going up it. And because I took damage, I'm going to refresh my bike. And use another one of those to launch me. Take that spring, it's fast. And the elevator. Skip that spring because that one's slow. You can make that with a cool double jump. And here, we want to skip that section because another one of these is fast. More health is always nice. And now we gotta fight this guy again. Hopefully I can do it better this time. On the bike, after a double jump when I don't have special or I want to save my special is the only time you'll see me really use my regular attack. Now we're at the boss. It's a nice level, and you get to do the entire thing on your bike. This guy is a dynamic boss. If you approach him, he'll back off. If you leave, he'll come forward. He'll always come forward on the third hit to do this, so. Which, as they're going up, I believe you can't clank with using kicks. Milla is very generous with health here. Preferably try not to take damage though, so the health gives you special. It's a lot easier said than done though. Getting hit once takes a lot of health on hard. Especially on this section, it's really hard not to get hit. Now we want to get health back. You can get to the next level with no health, and that sucks because then you gotta take the health that you may need during the boss. This is a very slow boss, just so you know. You can kill him before the second one of these. Alright, so I deliberately got 0 health so I can tell you what I'm talking about. That makes sense, Raz. You can see there I timed it with Milla so that she gives me a bit of health. I didn't do that intentionally, but it's a good way to get a bit of health at the end of the level. Now with Milla's obviously not going to give you health, and this boss is very hellish. So this health, it doesn't respawn unless you die, as far as I'm aware, which is terrible. If you're not good at the boss, you're going to need it. Now we gotta take those slow. I'll wait for that guy, which is safety. That'll basically be all your health. And you can kick onto those spikes and do that part 100% consistent. Now hopefully we're gonna keep this fire shield until the fire ship. Yeah right, I already death warped Luna. Had to show it off. Hitting these springs gives you a little bit of extra speed, but you want to get the spike here, and you want to keep the spike alive. You can jump off there at the right time and hit that spring. The bike has one killer flaw, and that's it gets stuck to everything. See, I lost the bike there because I was too slow on kicking this guy. So I boosted into him. That means we gotta do this level on foot, which is perfectly fine. The hitbox on the claw is massive. Ow. Some dumb damage there, so I'm gonna heal after this boss by going up here. Now you're supposed to destroy the cannons, but jumping off the tip of this, you can make it. Earthship is a bit finicky on making that though. Now I got the fire ship. If you had kept the bike, you can just walk back and boost and double jump and you'll make it across. But we lost the bike. Just kill that guy for fun, I guess. Now if you have the bike, I would hit this. But because we don't have the bike, I'm not going to hit it. I'm going to go up on this. Usually it'll still be to the right. And just hit this button now. Usually you would come over here and drop down and hit it, but that's slow. I only do it on the bike because it's safe. Now safety shield, and you can just wall jump up these, a luxury you don't have on the bike. It's still slow though, I miss my bike. Then you just go across here. This guy is a dick and I've lost my bike to him a number of times. So is that guy. Then we got this guy to deal with. It's not too bad, just roll at him when he's on the ground, jump slash him when he's in the air, and he won't take very long to kill. And jump off that. Yeah, well you're more of a chopper than a bike. Or that helicopter is more of a chopper than a bike. A copter. These guys are dicks. If you don't time it properly, they will pretty much always hit you. And then over here... No, I missed it. Damn it. I'm gonna do something really slow and go back here, because I took the wrong route. You come down here and you jump over here, there's a metal shield. Metal shield is a godsend. You can keep it for the boss, and you can avoid his charges. The boss is simple. There's some health there if you need it. On hard you likely will. So taking that a bit slow, because I got a bit messed up by going back. Be careful with that slime, he's a dick. There's a bit of health here, grab it. It's not out of the way at all. So the metal shield, you can just dance on spikes and not give a shit. Ah shit, I do not want to be up here. I do not know the upper route at all. Preferably we're going to use those, and kicks this guy, because he's a dick and has stolen my metal shield countless times. Now we're on the boss. He only has one attack that'll even hit me, and it's really easy to avoid. These little orbs, metal shield. Now if you can time it right to get 3 kicks, you can land on this pencil thing again, kick him quickly, and do that really quick. Now this is a really tough jump to get right, since if you're slightly too late, the tip doesn't exist and you die, and if you're too early, you die. So, because this is a tutorial, I want to keep the metal shield to show it off, and I'm going to do slow strats. Grab the health, because why not? I had full health, but shut up. Okay, as you can see, that respawned and I'm an idiot. So forget I said anything at the start of the level. So this metal shield, he'll use this, don't give a shit. And just dodge these, I like to do a little cycle on these. Charges are your only threat, because they'll still kill your metal shield. Rolls are really good against this boss, and so is a huge hitbox that you kick. Now he'll do the big gold attack, which everybody hates, but metal shield. Preferably you want to hit him before he gets this attack off ever. Slow. This is speed run, so you don't want to go slow. Now the giant hitbox on the claw is really good. It'll hit him when you don't think you can hit him. It's big enough to hit both his face and the last one of these. Alright, and that's the Sky Bat boss with metal shield. It's a lot trickier without it, but just be careful, and if the balls are gonna hit you, kick them in the face.
This is far from over!
Next up is Jade Creek, another level that we're hopefully going to have a bike for the entirety of. Or as Raziel wants me to call it, Raziel? Whatever. The chopper. As you can see, I kept the metal shield, because like I said, Carol's persistent. Now this guy is really tricky to avoid. You gotta land there perfectly or he will hit you. Unless you just kick him in the face until he dies, in which case he won't hit you because kicks are broken. Now Carol goes faster underwater when she goes downward, which is kind of silly, but whatever. If you do this right and make it to the top of this, and don't go off the top, you can make it all the way across. Now here, it's good to just hug the left. Skip this whole area, and then go under that guy. Now there's some health if you're needing it from the previous level. Oh, there's bubbles here. You can either use the bubbles, which is the normal route, or if you manage to avoid the bubbles, you can break this ground and come down here. You do not want to get hit by those bubbles, so they're inevitably a time loss. If you don't need health, just go up that wall. If you need health, hit the thing. Darn, finally lost the metal shield. They're the refresh for your bike. I also don't recommend getting the invincibility, but if you're low on health or your bikes, no, you just refresh your bike. If you're low on health, grab that invincibility, otherwise ignore it. It's a jerk, and will cost you some frames. You can actually time it to hit this wall and climb up it. And then here, I like to land on this and just boost. Don't jump, or you'll hit one of those walls and go into it. Until the end, then you can double jump and land out of the water. It's always faster to just drive up walls, which is kind of fun. Plus, who doesn't like having a motorbike, or a Harley, as I'm being told it is, that goes up walls. Now, if you're low on health, you can come up here and get this shield, because you want to keep this bike. The wood or flower or whatever type of shield you want to call it will attract the pedals. And then this is the only time we get off the bike. Well, that's not true. Here, the quickest way and safest way to do this is quite slow. Messed that up. I apologize. You can see if you mess up, you take a lot of damage. Which you don't want to do, because you need that health. There's a bit here, which I highly recommend grabbing it because these bombs do 4 health. There is a metal shield there, it's safer to grab it, but there's another one coming up soon. Getting up there is a little tricky, but it lets you skip going down and around. But there is health you miss by doing that. Here's the metal shield I referred to earlier. You can get the Shield of Lost Time if you want, but if you're timing RTA, which personally I believe makes more sense, you should not grab it. I'll explain why it makes more sense when I get to it. Now this part, because I grabbed that fire shield, is very safe, but you can easily do it with the metal shield. The bike makes it pretty quick. Now you can grab this. It's not necessary at all though, because we're done on the sub, and there's like 2 parts you can get hit here. You can get hit there, which is completely your own fault if you get hit and you know it's coming. Or coming up, there's one of my nemesis, the green guys, who you can just jump over. Now if you need a bit of health, grab all you need here. We're coming up to the boss. Now because you hopefully kept the bike alive, you can do this pretty quickly, but if you didn't, you can just wall jump too. So for Serpentine, you get off the bike. Hit him once there, and you can just flank with everything except for the flamethrower. Now I like to, as he's dashing, hit him with a roll, because then he'll be able to get killed or take damage by regular attacks. I'm very bad at dodging that purple attack, but thankfully we're still alive. Now our goal here is to spawn Milla before our bike dies. Milla absolutely destroys these little enemies. As you can see there, Exhibit A. And there we go. That's how you kill him quickly. And you're invincible during this ending sequence, so grab any health you missed. If you don't have the bike there, you can wall jump up the wall and use a pounce claw, but that's slower. So here, just to prove my point, you can not kick these lasers. That's why I don't believe their invincibility at all. Some weird clanking thing that these lasers ignore. His flamethrower attack, kick it. Kick it or get under him. If you're Milla, I have no idea. Avoid it. No problem, idiot. I'm gonna be saving this VOD and uploading it to YouTube. So this, I like to go 2 at a time, and then do the triple there. Because getting hit by one of those is basically death sentence. You can go down or up, it really doesn't matter there. If I hit the wall, I'll go up. Now you could get an early hit on this guy, I can't even remember if I did. If you did, it's 2 claws and then kicks. That guy can be very lethal, especially since I don't think you can kick his laser. That's the last we see of those lasers, thankfully. Those guys right there are jerks. When they bring out the swords, it goes like 100 feet to the side and will hit you. But this level has barrels, which are amazing. Then we go up here. You do not want to miss going up here, it's crucial. Because bike. And you go down here and across. This is a little tricky to do on the bike, but it's very possible. And this guy's a dick and has hit me a billion times. Do not get hit by him. It does 4 damage. Now here, you can grab this barrel. It's a little bit slower, but who doesn't like riding a barrel on a motorcycle? Because this guy just kills it. You gotta be very careful here, because if you fall too long, you will blow up the bombs on your bike. And that does 4 damage, and you will cry. Now here, it's just a bit of creative platforming, because we still have the bike, you can just jump across. This boss, I'm sure there's a quick way to kill him, but I like to just sit under him until he attacks. Then double jump into him and kick. Here, when he does this attack, you can get a little bit of extra damage. Which usually can mean the difference between getting another cycle there or not. Now here, if your bike's hurt, refresh it. You'll need it. Or you can refresh it there if you missed the first one, or even here if you missed both. These ninjas can be jerks. Just go fast, don't look at them. All they want is attention, don't give it to the trolls. If you're fast, you don't have to deal with those guys, otherwise kick them in the face. Now preferably, you will make it there in one go. Otherwise, you have to deal with this asshole blowing up the bombs. And Luna, that's not true at all. Bosses like, what's his face? Prince Dale are definitely slower on foot. Now here, with a bit of decent jumping, you can get up here. 4 of these is the most I want you to do. Otherwise, you will kill him, he will be invincible, and you will cry. I've also tested on that boss, and my times on and off the bike have been almost identical. So this, I literally just boost back and forth. You might take a bit of damage, but there's 2 refreshes there. Your bike. So here, because of that jumping we did, this guy now has like 2 health. And he's dead. And Carol is very happy about it. That's Trap Hideout, probably one of the hardest stages to do quickly, because it's very lethal on hard. Now Thermal Base, it's got 2 big tricks, only one of which I've seen any Carol player do. I will try to show off why we don't do the other one, but I am gonna fail it and then walk away and never look at it again. So I kick this guy because otherwise he always hits me and I didn't hold my kick long enough. Here, if you time your jump properly, you won't land on that. So here is where the first zip is done. You can only do it on the long one of these that comes from the roof, which always happens here. And then you've got to just jump, pounce, and pray that you fly up through it. I've practiced this a lot and haven't gotten it once. I'll give it one more try. Okay, that doesn't count. I've only seen one or two people who can do it consistently as Lilac even, and it's far easier as Lilac, and they even do it on the short one usually. And then Milla. I've never seen most zips as Milla. You can probably do the Relic Maze. You can probably do it from the ladder, but eh. I've never even gone close to getting it from the smaller ones. If you can, then you might be able to do it.
Intrusion detected. Please remove yourself from the facility.
That guy's a jerk. Here's a nice spot to get some health just by wall jumping and pouncing through it all. Some more good kicks will carry you through this area, or you'll get hit because you're bad like me. And I'm gonna grab that health because I'm bad. Okay, these guys are almost always jerks. If you let them just shoot and you run away, the bullets will follow you. So here's a box zip. You go to the force box on the third row for me. This is how I do it. I don't know how others do it. Push it up one row, land on here, walk on top of it. It has a chance to screw up boxes in other levels by making them not appear, or boxes will just drop in front of you randomly. Okay, here's a kind of tricky trick. You want to pounce once, and jump and kick so that none of them hit you, and get to the very end of that. And at the very end there, you want to jump. Oh, I missed the pounce. See, I don't have enough speed there, so I'm just gonna die. If I miss this and I just move on, but I want to show it off. Ah. There, you make it up here, and there's two assholes down there who will follow you. And they will come into the mini-boss's room if you don't despawn them by coming up here. They'll oftentimes, while you're climbing this ladder, they'll drop down and you'll be sad. And then they'll follow you down here. And then they'll follow you all the way down here. So this mini-boss is good with kicks. Plus the damage you can get out of rope clawing is pretty good. A couple of kicks there. If you have enough special you can kill them, otherwise a single claw there. Every time I've rolled there, Luna, I've gotten hit. So here you can skip this, but I missed it. This guy's a jerk, so we're gonna kick his fireballs out. And then there's a neat little like run around puzzle here, but you can just come up here and skip the entire puzzle. Now you can get the shield for safety and to lose time, but you don't need it. Not by any means, because there's a fire shield right here. Fire shield honestly doesn't matter if you keep it. I'll usually lose it to those guys. So we come down here, and we're gonna boost to the left and instantly release it and double jump. And you make the cross without taking damage. If you hold it too long, you're just gonna kick, and then you're gonna get hit. So hug the ground here, it's faster. Up there is just a card. Don't go too fast here because you're gonna get owned by these. So I hit that because it gives me a bit of extra speed. Both here and one part later in the level. I only ever like to go 2 of those at a time. There is some health up above if you need it, but it's faster to go down here. And then we're coming up to the hardest trick, the elevator skip. You jump on the wall and you push B, or special, right up the wall. I don't know if people can do that, but I'd say give it a try and see if you can. Really though, it's very easy. Now here, at the start of this, you want to position yourself so you can kick him. I was a bit off center, so I've got to add a couple of extra kicks. If you don't kill this guy quickly, he's going to be a jerk and fly around, and you're going to be sad. This is a boss of waiting. You want to cut that waiting to a minimum. So we're going to follow this one down. Go back to trying to manipulate him by standing about here-ish. Oh, I messed it up. So now you're going to get to see the joy of fighting this boss normally. When it does this, all you can do is cry. And that's Thermal Base. You do not want to get hit on that boss. If you get hit on that boss, you're going to be a sad cat. Since, remember, your health is persistent. And that means you come here with no health. Because one hit from that guy can do upwards of 5 or 6 hearts. Just because it chains you. Here you literally hold the right, hold X kind of slightly lower, and push B whenever an enemy you see. Holding right makes this place go faster. Thanks, idiot, that means a lot. This part's completely safe, but I have died at like 500 meters because I had no health from the previous boss, lost upwards of a minute. This is not timed in game time, and for that reason alone is why I time RTA. It makes no sense to have a part that you can lose time on that you're not timed on. Especially on the boss, which can be lethal and you can do a lot of damage to, or you can do very little damage to. So the flamethrower does more damage than just shooting, but it can be hard to jump and push flame while holding fire the whole time. So here we're playing Tohu now. There we go. We managed to keep decent health for Battle Glacier because, again, I don't get my health back. Battle Glacier, I like to call it the stage that if you get good at, you're good at this game. It is, in my opinion, the hardest stage to do. Not the boss, just the stage itself. I have only deathless the stage twice, I believe. FD2 is close in difficulty though. When I say FD, I'm referring to Final Dreadnought, not Final Destination and Fox only, because I'm a cat, I'm not a fox, so I can't do Fox only. These green guys are my nemesis because they do 4 damage. And if you jump through their shoulders, they'll often just hit you with their spikes. So we go down here because bike. If you've been paying attention, you know the bike is fast. I'm gonna wait there because I wasn't quick enough to double jump over them. I still took damage, which is bad. Okay, right here are bombs that I always run into. If you're going fast, you have a hitbox on the bike. Hey look, card. Want the card. So you're just chugging along fast through that area and suddenly 4 damage and you're sad. You do not want to be sad by taking 4 damage. And that helicopter flying around can sometimes troll you and just do 4 damage regardless of your position. So far what you've seen has been the easy half of Battle Glacier though. Now because I'm low, I'm gonna do pansy strats and grab that invincibility. Keeps my bike alive a bit longer, which is fast. But you have to get that invincibility, which is slow. Now here we meet the godforsaken missiles of mindlessness. These missiles, I swear, have a mind of their own sometimes. So sometimes these spots can take a long time. Getting that metal shield because it blocks these things from hitting you when they come up. You preferably want to hit all 3 at once, but it's very tough to do consistently. Lilac can just dragon boost through them, which is unfair, and she's a jerk. She's also a squid. Grabbing this health because I'm scared. And here's the last one of these things. Now if you still have good health on the bike, you're a happy cat. I took a bit of unnecessary damage on the bike there, and even more unnecessary damage off the bike there. You can actually manipulate this guy to basically stay in place. I highly recommend you check out Twitch TV's third grip, because he does it consistently as Lilac. Okay. Now that he's dead, I'm gonna be slow and get my bike, because I didn't drive it far enough to the right. Even if it just saves a little bit of time, it's worth it. I kind of want this fire shield. Also, those attacks in the background mess me up pretty bad. Now here, kind of just go under this. I'm actually gonna get off the bike here to preserve it, because we're coming up to a mini boss that's killed me a lot of times. Also, when I sit the box up, messes up boxes, usually a box here. It's just not because we broke the game. So this guy, he has 3 forms. He'll do 3 downward shots, 2 upwards kind of shooting things, and then he'll go berserk and run back and forth once shooting down. You want to kill him before he does that. Thankfully, your Wild Claw's hitbox is insane. When he comes down like this, a good roll into a claw combo will do a lot of damage. When he goes up, I always go up too. As you can see, I took 2 hits there, which would have killed my bike easily. Giant spiky balls, kick him out of the way. Playing a bit slow because I want to keep this bike alive, which kind of spoils the point of keeping the bike alive. But having it for these ramp or circle loops, I don't know what you want to call them, is always quick. I lost the bike anyways, though. Those one-eyed, spiny, rolly things are jerks. If you start running this game, you'll learn to hate them. Almost as much as the purple sound blasters. Now here you can get this health if you're a little bit low. So you come over here and hit this and go down like normal. So here, if you wait a second, you'll avoid this guy, or you can be really quick, but the giant spiky balls weren't giving me the first option. Second option of going quick. So I got there off cycle. Now this spot, you want to conserve your health. So always kick those guys. So we're coming up to my least favorite part of the entire level. Right here I'm going to grab the shield because again we're coming up to my least favorite part. And then we go left here. These bikes. If I haven't synced before, bike equals fast. You can kill that guy in one cycle if you do it perfectly. Now down here is the worst part in the game. You have to break 3 of those walls while pushing missiles into them and having 4 of the green guys shooting at you. All while trying to preserve your bike. So if you do it right, you can do it in one go. But that is very rare to do. And because these missiles have a mind of their own, it can be dangerous as hell. We kept the bike alive, which is all that matters. And we want that bike because it lets you do a quick hit on the upcoming boss. Now there's some nice health here, you do have to be careful with these bombs. Oh, where am I? I got lost, I'm sorry. Now this is a boss I was talking to Luna about that is definitely faster on the bike. Also one of the few that Carol does substantially faster than Lilac. So he'll always do 3 of the green things, which if you're worried about getting hit, just kick him. Then he'll do that yellow thing, then he'll do 3 more, go down to the ground, which is the best spot to do damage on him. And while he's on, you just want to keep going up the walls until he's on the ground. And double jump into him and hit him. You can kill these guys for health if you need it. Hopefully you won't. And that's the end of basically the most of the game. My splits are like 55 minutes here. But we're coming up to the 4 very difficult levels called Final Dreadnought. FD1, 2, 3, and 4. The bosses are ridiculous. The levels are very lethal. And you're persistent, so you're gonna probably die a lot. If you don't have health on this guy, you're a sad cat again. If you notice the trend, you want to play very safe on bosses and keep all of your health possible. That was a good battle glacier, by the way. Outside of my mini boss fight being bad. Yep, you probably saw what Luna said about despawning the yellow thing that I did during that fight. I'm not sure if it's worth it though, because then he'll go down quicker. Which if you get unlucky you can get hit by, although you can kick through them. Oh, you don't want to go this way, you want to hit this teleporter. See, I'm missing a box again. Get the shield of wasted time. Now this part, if you do it quick, you can beat this guy. If not, just kick it. Again, I'm sure you've noticed the trend. You mess up, kick it. Then down here, I want to be done this part before the song picks up, which I didn't do. Just because I know I'm going at a decent rate. There is a zip there you can do on a earlier patch, but it's been removed. Mainly because it seems to have interfered with casual play. Darn, didn't keep the metal shield. Now you want to keep this bike alive until the boss. I'm gonna get that shield just to show you that it's safe to get. The bike is hilarious because you can actually outrun the pulsing. Oh, I should explain that. Usually on this part, go up here and slowly go across. But you can actually just jump off of that and skip that. I like to stay high here because then you skip one of these two lasers. And as you'll see, those lasers are jerks. You will invariably get hit by them a lot as you learn this game. And now we're coming up to the boss. I'm gonna get off my bike and have it float there because I don't like it for the boss. Now this part's a little bit tricky, you don't want to take damage there. I was just practicing that part. A good bunch of kicks there. 3 roll claws. And you skip the train section. Just kicks through the saw blade. When I started this game I didn't know those kicks were so good, and that saw blade wrecked me. Now hopefully you can get him right here. And then 3 claws and you kick him in the face. And bam! Easy boss. Not really though. My first split on this boss was 25 minutes. Sub 3 is pretty good on him though. I can do that much faster, but I messed up. FD2. Right here, you're gonna be very sad if you took damage on the last boss, because there's no health on this level. There's, like, I don't know, a total of 6, 12, maybe 15 total health things you'll be able to pick up on my route. And again, you're persistent, so sad cat. This box is very nice to have despawn, but it's completely random as far as I'm aware. I like to mash A to go up this cliff, just because it looks funny. Maybe faster, maybe not. I have no idea, and frankly I don't care because it looks hilarious. So as you've seen, we still haven't picked up any health. And this place isn't very generous with checkpoints. This whole area, if you die and you go back to the start of before that first robot. So here Milla's going to drop you a pedal shield which blocks this stuff, so I recommend getting it, although it's slow. As you can see, because I lost the shield there, I got hit an extra time, and if I didn't have health I would be dead right now. I'd have to redo this section and lose like minutes. Ow. I took way too much damage there. Now I'm a sad cat. Health. That's all the health you get till the end of the level. Now here, this part's pretty good to play slowly, just because of these assholes. And these assholes. Now you don't want to play this part slowly at all, or that thing's gonna be a jerk and shoot you. And everybody seems to forget that the troops don't need oxygen. You can actually go up there and push the button before you get that, but after watching Zerg have Milla try to murder him twice in a row, I don't do it. Basically, the shield despawned for him because of the box glitch, I'm assuming. And he was a sad squid head. Now, if you can keep that shield, unfortunately that's very tricky to do. That's probably the hardest part of FD2 and the cause of most of my deaths. If you lose a shield early though, Milla tends to give you a shield. And you want the shield because if you time it right here, you can zip up the wall. If you're further to the left, you skip even more. But if you don't have a shield, you clearly want to get the shield and you can just... I kind of want to show what you would do without the shield. Without the zip. I actually can't. Sorry, people talking to me. There's another shield there, which is nice. Then you come over here, get that health, and get this health, because it's likely you're going to be bad like me and need it. Hopefully you're not, though. Alright, hits for the first wave of these. Have it hit at least that first one and then just wall jump. Now we're coming up to another reset warp, which is as soon as you get on these, I believe, you can just reset and skip the boss opening. Preferably I don't want to do that since I would have a deathless run here, but that hasn't happened yet. Now my strats for this boss, because it's incredibly difficult to do normally, is hug the wall, jump off, claw him in the face, and kick him, and get back to the wall. He will randomly do 1 or 2 punches, and then a move which always follows the pattern of that bullet thing, then the star shooter, then the bullet thing once again, and then the flamethrower. You can skip both the star shooter and the flamethrower by going up on the wall. And you can avoid everything by kicking it. But if you fight him normally, like my first playthrough, I died like 80 times on hard against him. He's one of the two that's very different on hard than normal, because he loses about a third of his delay after attacks on hard. And that little punch thing, he'll reach like a mile behind you, behind himself, and punch you in the face. So, that health down there, it's a lie. Don't get it, you'll die. I took a lot of damage there because I'm bad anyway, so. Actually quicker here to not take this loop and to instead just drop there. Shit. So, dying in Dreadnought always sucks because it's not very generous with checkpoints. You don't have to worry too much about the spike because there is another one in the level, but that one you don't want to lose. There you actually want to slow down so you don't get hit, but I never do because I forget. Okay, there's 2 extra bikes actually. A couple of decent wall jumps here will get you to those quicker. Now there is a zip here you can do by taking damage from that guy the same time you enter the teleporter, but it's too inconsistent for me that I don't bother, especially since I lose part of my motorcycle. Now there's a fire shield up here that's good for safety's sake, but if you don't need it, don't grab it. Now this is why I hate the sound blasters. Not having a bike for this part is slow, but thankfully they're the bike you get in a little bit. Don't get that bike up there, it's a lie. There's sound blasters there that'll shoot you in the face. See how slow it is to walk. Now this one isn't a lie. You want to hopefully outrace the sound. But if you want to wait because it's safe, do so. Better to not take damage than to take damage and go fast. Those guys can be real jerks. Now here we're coming up to the end of the level. If you still have a fire shield, all the better. Otherwise those things can do a lot of damage to you. So if you haven't beat this game yet, I suggest you pause now because there's a bit of spoilers here. But, well. Alright, so I'm going to explain this boss quickly. It has a set pattern that it'll follow at all times. It'll always shoot out 2 waves of shields, running back and forth, 2 waves of blocks, and then 3 waves of blocks while running back and forth. Anytime it takes damage, it'll start flying and shoot some little balls at you, and then resume its pattern where it left off. The waves is the worst part, so you want to kill it before it does it twice. You can always just hug the wall and wall jump to avoid the flying, but you can do a lot of damage sharing it. So I play very fast and loose on this boss because I'm very confident with my FD4. Sadly, we're gonna see the waves again. Alright, that was pretty bad. There is a neat little trick here you can do if you don't want to watch the sad cutscene, which is just hug this wall. And the camera doesn't like it.
No, you've got to be kidding me. That's it!
Plus, it's kind of funny to see Carol appear out of nowhere. Alright, now we're moving on to the final stage, FD4, which has 1 trick. 2 tricks? I don't know. But it's very easy to die on, and it has 3 bosses. And if you've seen, bosses can be quite tricky. Brevin 3 is also going to be the killer of a number of runs. On normal, Brevin 3 has a set pattern, and assuming you've played on normal, you've probably had difficulty with him until you figure out his pattern. But on hard, he loses that set pattern and doubles his damage, and appears to move faster. So here's a trick. With Carol, I'll take her left ear while I'm facing to the left and line it up with that black line in the pillar in the background. Kinda like this. That was a bit too far though. That was too little. Of course I'm gonna fail this when I'm telling people how to do it. Got it? Yep. So you need to go slightly away from the black line. So the reason Brevin 3 and the FD2 boss are different on hard than normal is the devs found that deaths on those 2 bosses were usually 10 or 20 times more on normal for first playthroughs. Oops, I messed up. At least I get health out of it. If you're quick, you can make it to this hole before the laser fires again. Also, in case you can't guess, this is another laser that you can't kick through. Here, we're gonna go up to the right, just so that we can deal with this section, have this guy fire quickly. That's a little bit risky to go there, but it's safe once you get the hang of it. Now we want to keep this fire shield. It wrecks the first boss. The first boss you'll recognize from Battle Glacier. which is the whole flying ship, except it does its laser a lot less often, and it has some new moves while it flies around. Luckily you can kick it. Kicking is good, and you can beat it in one full cycle and a little bit of a second. So here, you just want to pounce before it fires. If you get hit, it does 4 damage. So it'll come down, kick it in the face. You want to be closer to the wall than this. I got unlucky. Because there's so many missiles that time. Yeah, I'm pretty sure he is faster in hard mode too. But he can just instantly decide you're dead and like knife you and then shoot you and you take 7 hearts. So this guy gave me a lot of trouble when I was first starting out in this game. Until I figured out you could just kick him through his lasers by double jumping, or wall jumping twice. And when he does this, just kick him again. If you have time, you can kick him through that too. You don't want him to do this move too much, because it takes forever. This only gives you 5 health, so you don't want to drop below 2, because a sword, if you're at 1 health and you get the 5, it'll take them all off right away. So Brevin's 3 is probably going to kill you countless times on your first attempt. The main thing to know is kick his sword. Learn the audio cue for it and kick him. Know where he is at all times and know what he's doing. You don't want to get hit by him. So kick his sword. That audio cue is him throwing. That laser is also a pain in the ass because you get hit by the sword once in the laser and you're out of health. There, that yah is always going to be sword. Thankfully, after he does that full takeoff attack, he will never sword. Anywhere else, though, he can do whatever the hell he pleases. Once you get the hang of him though on hard, he's very consistent actually. The RTA time we use is on character select up until when your crystals stop counting down here. There's probably better ways to do it, but this is how Zerg and I have been doing it. That is the entirety of Freedom Planet is Carol on hard mode. And I highly recommend you learn the other characters if you want. Don't just play Carol because I play Carol. The other characters are extremely quick too with fun. If you find one of them fits your style, learn them. Lilac is faster by far. I think, I don't even know what the difference is, like 9 or 10 minutes on normal. Plus, the most important character is right here. Quack. And the game is nice enough to give you a countdown of your deaths here. That deaths I have in Relic Maze was the reset warp, which is why you won't see me do it in my runs until I get a deathless one. Thermal Base I have a lot of deaths from resetting to show off that one trick, and Trap Hideout from showing off the lasers. I had a deathless Battle Glacier, which is extremely rare. That's my 3rd one ever. The FT2 deaths, I don't remember. Oh right, the reset warp. And a deathless FD4 is always excellent. The thing is, Luna, we don't have our hands on the keyboard to press our split.